Oh, morning. Is it morning? Oh, one sec. There you go. It's a bit dull today, so. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, there's a car missing, look. It's down there. But, yeah, I'm chop shit up today, look. Yeah, man. No, I don't even know why that's in here, to be honest. Yeah, you might have got a bit blinded with science from my last video that's going up Saturday morning. I know the wife says she zones out when I start talking technical shit, like. But has to be said sometimes, you know what I mean? You have to go through technical stuff, but hopefully this one won't zone you out as much, do you know what I mean? So I'm going to get that back on the 2-post, show you something for the back end, and I'm going to get that running because my mate wants to take it to a classic car show for his birthday or something. It needs a few bits, so bear with me. Well, that hasn't started off too well. Basically, battery's fucked. Got a fast charge, slow charge and trickle charge unit here, and it's coming up with F4, so shagged the battery. So it's been unplugged, do you know what I mean? But it hasn't been on the trickle charge because it's up on the racking, do you know what I mean? I ain't gonna leave batteries up there on the trickle, but either way, it's, don't know how old it is. But I can't just swap it because it's a small pin battery, look. So some bright spark decided to put a small pin on it. Yeah. So I've just messaged my mate, told him he needs to order me a battery and get it delivered because can't really do much. Well, I can. I've got to change cool pack leads and plugs, so I'll do that. Yeah. I'll show you what I'm doing anyway. See you in a bit. It's original Ivo RS 1600 shell. I think 9 or 10 years ago, I dragged it out of a field with about 10 different ratchet straps with my pal Solomon. It was a right mess, but it's restored now. But not my choice of engine. But it's got some nice bits, you know. Those aren't carbs, those are Gen V throttle bodies, heritage, they look like carbs. So that's a nice touch. It's on a cross flow, I believe. This one though, because this was done out of my hands. I didn't have any involvement in this engine because I was off my feet at the time. But I think this was built by Ike. I think there's an Ike one. I'm not too sure. But she sounds well when she's working, but she don't want to start at the minute. I'm not sure why. Once she's going, I mean, give her a tug on a rope and she's flies straight up and that's it, she's going, so. But she doesn't want to start, so I'm going to change the plugs, leads and cool pack. I'll show you what I'm also thinking might be the cause. In the boot, someone in their wisdom decided to put the fuel pressure regulator in the boot. It's not where I'd put it. I'll put it as close to the rail as possible. Well, theoretically, it should be fine wherever it is there, but I just like them close to the rail, do you know? It's kind of like the theory behind having a remote turbo underneath the car in the back. It'll run as much boost as it would next to the engine, but it's in your head you think it will drop boost and you think that will drop pressure. But the thing is, this is a air equip fuel pressure regulator. One second. And basically, as soon as you turn the ignition off, it holds no pressure, you know? So it's got no pressure at all. So I need somebody to check for me. Well, I'll check myself. When I turn the ignition, prior to starting, is it holding pressure when you turn the ignition? That's what I need to check. Because I've got a suspicion that fuel pressure regulator, diaphragm might be fucked. But yeah, I don't know who put this in. It's tidy enough, you know, it does the job, but it's not the layout I'd have chosen, you know. But it works, do you know what I mean? So shit's not broken, don't fix it, but it is broken somewhere at the minute. I've got suspicions that we'll change the bits at the front first. But again, I can't just dump another battery in there because let me show you. it's got really small battery lead connectors. So I need to wait for a brand new battery, so I might just leave this for today. Yeah. See you in a bit. Right, anyway, with Pinky, there's something I forgot to show you last time. Remember I showed you that standard beam last time? She's up again because I've got to drop that fuel tank off because I need to get the fuel lines from out of the car because we're not having in-car fuel lines, man, because it fucking stinks. Like I said, it's not going to be a race car. So get the fuel lines out and we're going to run fuel lines underneath the car. But that's the beam I showed you before, which is pretty standard with a few bits welded onto it, like. That's what you should have had. That is F2 beam, independent. Runs off rose bushes in, see those there? So you lift this side and that side doesn't lift, so basically it goes like that. You can have it independent and the roll bar attaches to there and there, as that one has been modified for on the ends. So you should still have a roll bar, but that's an F2 beam. That's not. Now, I don't know if that's going on there as yet, but I wanted to show you what an F2 beam is. Proper F2 maxi beam. So that might end up on here. It might. It might. We'll see. But seeing as I'm not pissing about with that today, I might cut the floor, drop the tank and cut the floor out of this. We'll see. Cheers. Fuel tank's off. Nice and tidy up there as well. No rot to be found. It's a good job I took the tank off because basically there's some crimped hoses that were going through some of my type of carbon fibre cover in the rear floor. Yeah. So there's some shit paint to put on this tank as well. The tank looks fine, nice and clean inside. No rot. So nice tidy tank. On the inside anyway. A nice tidy floor. So what I'll do, I'll make up some new fuel lines. So I'll put the tank back in and I'll run the fuel lines down here. I don't think I'll run them all the way up to the bulkhead because I don't know how I'm going to run. I don't know what fuel pump's in there, so I need to take it out and have a look what fuel pump's in there. But I might just run them to here and then we can have a join on here going up. So for now I'll just have a feed and a return here. I think it's better than going through this dodgy, mashed up hole that's been cut into the chassis. And tell you what, whoever's been working on this car's never heard of a riv knot, do you know? Look at that, you've got to be inside the car, outside the car to doing things up. They've done it with the fire extinguisher, they did it with the fuel pump and the swell pot. Absolute idiots. Never heard of a riv knot, you know? Makes a 2-man job a 1-man job. Fucking riv nuts, never heard of them. Funny, innit? But yeah. I think we're getting close to cutting that out now. Yeah. We're getting close. What I'm more pissed off about at the minute is I can't find my AN6 jig spanner, which I use to undo all these, and I can't find my red snap-on side cutters that I use to take out 1,000,001 cable ties off this car. So I'm going to drop it down now and have another search inside and search engine bay, because I don't like losing things, you know, especially my side cutters. But my jig spanner, that's pissed me off. I need my AN6 spanner. Let's have a mooch for me lost tools, man. That's doing me nothing. Whilst I thought I'd try and figure out ETs for the best wheel and tyre fitment. I've got a Compomotive old school there, and I think without checking that's a 33. But don't forget we've got a massive like 20mm spacer on the back, which I'd like to remove. The front's a 32, 33 as well. They seem to sit in a bit. I think we could do with coming out on the front. I've got some 15s I want to check. I think we've got loads of room there to come out. So I'm thinking maybe ET15, ET20. Best fitment for it, like. Don't know. And do a bit more head scratching. I'm thinking off the top of my head at the moment, maybe ET15s might be best. Because spacers are massive on the back of this. You see them. We've got some big 20mm spacers by the look of it. Minimum 20mm. So we've got room for a wider ET on the back. We've got room on the front, so I'm thinking 15. Standard Cosy wing fitment is 15, so I don't know where that front hub's been placed, you see. I've got some 16-inch CT15s, I'll try them later, maybe tomorrow. I'll get on them now, we'll see. Found my jig spanner, just the side cutters to find now. Fuck knows where they are. One thing I have noticed, right, is these studs, man, they need extending. We've hardly got any threads going through these nuts, man. Look at that. I think we've got like 4 or 5 mil thread going into that nut. That's not acceptable, man. So we need to extend the nuts, so we've got to strip these fucking hubs down. There's no CV in there at the minute, but I think could do with new bearings anyway. But yeah, we could do with extending the nuts, man. Not the nuts, the threads. Longer studs in the hubs, another job. Right, so I've removed this rear spacer, man. I measured this 30mm, man. 30mm rear. Don't want 30mm spacer on there. But as you can see, with a 30mm spacer removed, that wheel is massively tucked in. I think 30mm is a bit overkill as well, because that's really wide. A bit too wide, really. Yeah, that's really wide. It's touching, close to touching. So I think if we go ET15, because these are 32s, that's an ET32. So we go ET15, it'll bring that out, what's that, 18mm. And then what we can do if we need to, we can space the hub out off of the beam, because at the moment it's got like a 10mm spacer on the beam, but what we can do, we can space the hub out instead. If we go any lower than 15, be out too far. So I think 15 will suit the front, and we can put some top mounts in and mess about with the top, and the bottom arm can be adjusted. Yeah, we'll go with 15, I think. So it's up to Jamie what wheel she gets. Those are 17s, those are 18s. I think 18s look better on a maxi. They all used to run 18s. So 18s, ET15, which is Escort Cosworth offset, which makes sense, doesn't it? But obviously, Escort Cosworth got different geometry set up on the rear beams and the front axle. So yeah, that's where we're at. ET15, I think. But I'll bang that back on for now, so I'll put these wheels back on. Cheers. I'm happy now. Found everything. Oh wow. Man in the shed, just plodding on, and gets a bit carried away today. Ooh, what we done? Let's have a look. Oh shit. I slipped with the angle grinder. I promise, miss, I found it like this. It just fell out, man.
Ooh. That. Yeah, that was there, man. Oops. Just fell out, man. I think if I use those pink cable ties I found around there, I'll be able to put it back in like that. It'd be mint, I reckon. What do you reckon? How can I get that back in there without anyone noticing? Oops. Wrong thumb. Oof. Nearly had you there, didn't I? Nearly had you. Oof.